Welcome to broadcast number 19. How are you all doing? This is from Kickstarter 102.4. They, of course, brought the Kickstarter Radio on YouTube channel. If you're on the podcast, the link is in the description. But if you floated over from YouTube, I do welcome you, as the music today is all going to be from the 1990s. So if you're a millennial, you might not have heard of these classic songs. But if you're Generation X or even a baby boomer, these are going to be right. Some classic nostalgia songs. All based about love. Yeah, they're all males that are singing about love, and these are absolute classics, because this week I got a CD set and it's like classic love songs from the 90s. Can you guess how many were on this in the 90s on this CD? 200! Oh my god, it was like a golden age of love songs in the 90s. Oh my goodness. And I don't think the millennials have had anything as good as these. In fact, when I say these, I mean this massive collection. I brought some of my favourites from the first 100, as I'm still working my way through it. We'll have Robbie Williams, Take That, Seal, and Extreme. Who the hell are they, you might be asking? But trust me, these are fantastic songs with great lyrics, and really, the love songs is where real poetry is coming from. You know, is poetry dead? No, it's floated into the music industry is where it's at. Anyway, peeps, we are going to be talking about Kickstarter board games and all that good stuff. Only really two this week that we recognise as interesting for you folks out there. Waste Night 2nd edition, that amazing narrative choose your own adventure style board game. It's like a role play in a post-apocalyptic way. Really beautiful colour and art. That's got an expansion called Beyond the Horizon, and now you'll be able to go out onto the islands like New Zealand and some of the islands around Australia. So it now encapsulates Oceania or Australasia, which is very, very good. We'll talk about that later. And Uprising, Titans of the First Age, coming back to crowdfunding. It's gone to Gamefound, and this is kind of a second printing, but it's a cooperative 4X, and with all those shameless games on crowdfunding that claim to be 4Xs, this is a real genuine one, which should get you really excited, as it's really the king of 4Xs in the board game hobby world. So yeah, absolutely wait for that. We're talking about that as well. So yeah, only really two to talk about. But in the media, we're talking about the Halo TV show, Moonknight TV show, and I watched the Uncharted movie this past week, and I'll let you know my thoughts on that. But it's going to be a franchise, that movie, and yeah. Did you see it? Have you not seen it? I'll tell you my thoughts as we go on. So a little bit of a short-ish show this weekend, as it's primarily fueled by Kickstarter stuff and all that goodness. I wonder what you've been playing this week. I've been playing Dice Throne, season 2, for those that know what it is. It's like a dice chucking 1 versus 1, and I was really good. I was playing like the Vampire Lord. Oh my goodness, that game is so tight. It always goes down to like single numbers on health. I really love it. But the Vampire Lord's fantastic, as she allows you to kind of force your opponent to re-roll a die. So if they get their ultimate from the dice, you can make them re-roll one. You desperately need that, because she's not very good at damage dealing. She's more of, let's draw this game out to be longer so I can do my stuff to you. But yeah, love Dice Throne. And the person I was playing with, I was telling them there is like a Marvel version of Dice Throne, and he's like, and I said, well, hopefully we get a DC version. And suddenly he like went, ooh, that'd be really good, wouldn't it, to have Batman and things like that, because the Marvel heroes are so like overused now, and I don't know, I'm not a Marvel fanboy. I mean, I'll take it when it comes, and it doesn't really float my boat, especially the disastrous Spider-Man movie, that last one. Sore in my side, peeps. And we're going to have a special as well, which is the Anuunaki Kickstarter was cancelled because apparently $126,000 is not enough after its first day. WTF, you couldn't even make it up. Alright, we'll come back after this first song talking about the Waste Nights expansion. And this is from Robbie Williams, who was in the boy band Take That. He kind of broke away from the boy band, and this was in his first album, and it was an absolute cracker of an album, but this was kind of the song that was all around on the radio and stuff. Like, you couldn't go in any shopping centre without this song blaring every hour, never mind the radio, just everyone was playing this song in the mid-90s. So this song's Angels. So yeah, Rob Williams, please take it away.
This is Guess 1 or 2.4.
Waste Nights 2nd edition. This is in my top 10 of all time. It's post-apocalyptic, but if you consider Mad Max, it's roughly like 100 years later, when things have kind of calmed down. There's sanctuary cities. Now you can go in where you can't take your weapons in and all that stuff. World is still hostile though. And if you've not played the base game, or you've got the retail game, there's definitely reason for you to come here. If you're coming from the retail, you can get the first Kickstarter expansion stuff, which is vehicles that you can ride and vehicle mods that you can do. You can modify the vehicles in the game, which is fantastic, and it also offers a lot of more narrative scenarios, including the big baddie of Australasia, which is like the Dread Lord, whatever, I can't remember whatever his name is. But anyway, the expansion is expanding from Australia into Australasia, and you are going to be now get different boats, all types of different boat cards now, to go out and do adventures around in the continent. There's even a raft, so you can take your land vehicles, because now in the base game you are going to be, you could, opens the option to go port to port, which is fantastic, because if you've played some of the scenarios, you're following to get objectives, and you're at the end of the map, you need to go to all the way across the map, and it's like, oh, am I gonna make it? Because there's like a time pressure on the stories and stuff. So if you get on the port, you could possibly get there a lot safer, ? The seas have their own events, though it might be a bit dangerous and all that stuff. Yeah, and a companion's going to be for this as well. So, the companion, which is like the choose your own adventure. You do have a book, and it's like, you go into a bar and a guy says, hey, you looking for work? Do you completely ignore him, or you go to the bar? Turn to this number, or you go to the bar, turn to this number. So it's like choose your own adventure. As you go through that adventure, though, when you're role-playing this narrative, you are going to be writing things down, and sometimes in the story it will say, oh, you've met this person. Use your negotiation check skill, which is rolling dice, or you can bribe this person, or if you've picked up this item, or you know about this knowledge already, you can talk about that. So there's like options, and you'll be like, where would I have found about that? What is that thing? So that's kind of the role play, how it works. And there is an app, because if going through all these pages and stuff, you can kind of lose your way. But I guess if you don't want app integration, you just use a couple of bookmarks. They will make it a lot easier. Now the art in this game is top notch. It looks so fantastic. It's all over the cards, and it's just brilliant. They introduced a new mechanic also, which is kind of thirst, so making it a bit more survivable, because this kind of survivable kind of gaming is getting popular, and I guess that mechanic has drifted over into Waste Nights. You can kind of take away mechanics in Waste Nights. You can kind of play the, I guess, first game rules if you want the easier. But if you play the full game, that's where it becomes more of a harder place to survive. You know, if you want to feel that role play of post-apocalyptic, you can definitely add it in. More scenarios is fantastic though, and oh my god, there's an add-on for a massive playmat. Make the board 20% bigger. I'm all up for that. It's looking fabulous. It really is. It's a nice long campaign though, so you can check out some gameplay videos out there. There's already 17 stretch goals unlocked, and it has really got it's over 2,000 backers, which is fantastic. And yeah, some of the stretch goals are really, really cool because they are adding more characters and more gear cards, more adventures, which is kind of the meat and bones of, you know, of the game, is to go on these adventures. And it's like you're playing a role-playing game across the map of Australia. Now got islands to travel to, which makes it great. And in the role-playing world, you get yourself vehicles, you get yourself weapons, you know, flamethrowers that have more dice to roll and things like that. The events in the seas that have been unlocked, they're looking cool because it's like weather and unexpected phenomena is affecting land and sea. This weather deck, and it could, one of them that they've shown is like an underwater eruption that will affect all the seas and stuff like that. So obviously weather's not going to affect land too much, but the ocean, yes, it will. More ships are coming out as well, and all this good stuff. It's looking fantastic. It also looks like they've unlocked the Kraken standee, which looks like there's going to be like a boss in the ocean to hunt down. And it does say there's going to be a story-driven adventure around this douche, so that's going to be great to see that. And so yeah, really exciting stretch goals, peeps. The original Kickstarter for the second edition had some fabulous stretch goals too. But here we're getting more, and it's time of recording here on the Saturday, the €155 stretch goal, which is 2 sea and 2 wasteland cards with corresponding entries in the Book of Tales. These are like great because these are things that, like magic, it's almost like a magical item in like a legendary item that you can find in the world. If you imagine this is some kind of Dungeons and Dragons thing, it would be like a legendary thing, which is really, really good. The example they found, like you found a message in a bottle and it's going to send you somewhere on the map, a bit like a pick up and deliver, but not deliver, pick up and find what it's taking you to. And that then could have some kind of interesting, and that's where the legendary loot will be. So loads of like gameplay stuff is adding in here, and this is looking great. If you like role-playing adventures that have different scenarios instead of like a campaign, this is really good for you. You can level up your character as you go through the game, and it's roughly, well, there's different scenarios have their own different time, but it's roughly between 90 and 3 hours. 90 minutes and 180. Obviously quicker if you're playing solo, of course, but it's really, really good. And when you get to like the end of these scenarios, the amount of branching that goes on in the story is really, really impressive. And loads of choices you're going to have to do, and yeah, lots of dice chucking and all that good stuff. It really is phenomenal. And if you go to the Kickstarter, you'll see the art. This, you know, Gallica, this is the real pièce de résistance that they brought out, and they're just adding more to it. Yeah, super, super cool. That's Waste Night, 2nd edition. Oh, yes, you do want to get it if you've not got it. And of course, coming from the retail, get your Kickstarter upgrades and the expansion. And if you like me, went all in on the 2nd edition, it's obviously going to be coming for this expansion. And the playmat, of course. Anyway, that's Waste Nights. Again, going to be on Kickstarter for at least another 2 weeks. And I'll probably be doing the final thoughts of that once it gets fully stretched. Just to kind of talk more about the goodness of the game and all that stuff. Alright, now we'll be talking about Uprising next, which is the king of the 4X genre in gaming, board gaming. But first, this is an absolute classic from Seal. That black man with scars on his face, that dude who was married to some supermodel that you might not have heard of if you're a millennial. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, does it? Anyway, it's called Kiss from a Rose, and check the medieval music that he mixes into this. Really, really good.
This is Case 102.4.
Now, Uprising, Titans of the First Age. This is the first reprint of the game, and they're doing an expansion. It's a true marquee blue ribbon board game worthy of your collection. It's a miracle of a 4X game because, one, offering co-op, which is fantastic. Not even the video games have got a co-op version. You know, you can probably play Civilization with your mate and stuff, but there's no like co-op per se. So yeah, you can cooperatively play it, and you're up against 2 AI factions which will also war with each other, and you can manipulate stuff going on and all that good stuff. Now, the depth of things you can do is great because most 4Xs just have you going around with your army and stuff, but here you've got like a hero character as well that has their own special abilities and can level up during the game. So that's really good. The hero will have the army behind them, and you can build like fortresses on the map and walls around it and defense towers and stuff. It really is good. Now the Uprising team, which is Nemesis Games, they have brought out this. It's Titans of the First Age is the expansion. The Last Emperor was the base game, but you can get it all in here and all that good stuff. There's no like minimum pledge at the minute, so you've got to kind of pledge $99, which sucks really. But you know, if you can't afford it, if it will be late pledge, of course, and the early bird was, I think it was some dice or something like this, which you can add on anyway. But it has loads of standees, and they're quite garishly coloured. You probably get over that when you play it because you know you don't have them all out at the beginning. In fact, the pictures they're showing on the Gamefound page are all basically late game, what the game looks like late on, and stuff like that. But yeah, the artist though might surprise you. It's the same artist from Magic the Gathering, the Bartek Federzak, and it's using over 150 paintings from this guy in the base game, and he's come back to the expansion, which is great. So you are getting that. This game will never come to retail, so you're only able to get it on the Kickstarter or Gamefound. So yeah, this is like one of those ways of getting it. I missed the original Kickstarter because I was on holiday, but I would have backed the first Kickstarter if I'd known about it. It was because I usually go on a cruise in April, but because of the vaccine rules, like, oh, you can't go on a cruise unless you've been vaccinated. Like, I'm sorry, but the vaccine doesn't cover Omicron, does it? It covers the Delta. The Delta's not here anymore. Oh, the vaccines never stop you spreading it anyway, so that was an insane thing. And, you know, if the vaccine gives you protection, what are you worried about? Like, if vaccine gives me 100% immunity, like, even if you're infected, I shouldn't get infected, right? This is the whole vaccines work and they don't work thing. It's like, if you're protected, why should you care if I'm not vaccinated? Yeah. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant, isn't it? I went on several rants when I covered this on the channel, which is why the video is longer than normal. So if you want to know more about any of these games I cover on broadcast, go check out our YouTube channel, which is Kickstarter Radio 102.4, of course. Go to the description of the podcast to find a quick link to it. Now, it's been unlocking lots of social things, like what do people want, and so this is good to see. One of the main complaints from the first is it can be a little bit swingy with the dice rolling, but they are introducing dice mitigation here, so that they've kind of, you know, what would I call it? Fixed it. They're trying to iron all the problems that it has in it, and there's loads of add-ons that you're gonna want to get. So I think once you've put everything on, when you put everything on for Uprising, it could be like a $300 game, and I'm still waiting for them to announce a playmat from a third party, because the original Kickstarter had a playmat, and I'm just waiting for the update where they say you can go and get your playmat. And if you want the playmat and the shipping, it's going to go upwards of $400, and then when you put your shipping on, it's going to be like $500. So, ouch! If you want the best 4X game in board gaming, and you want all of it, yeah, it's going to be expensive. But, you know, like I said on the video, you should be able to put down $500 on a game once a year, question mark? Yep. You know, or factor it out over the months, because, you know, it's like there's going to be quiet Kickstarter months where there's nothing coming out, so that's why you can kind of put the budget aside for these big monsters when they come. But yeah, because you'd be able to late pledge it and put everything on later and all that good stuff. So yeah, it is looking fantastic. Anyway, Uprising. There's loads of fake 4Xs. The one thing that they keep missing is the exploration, and that's like a big fun part of these, isn't it? The exploration, exploring up and finding the enemy faction, like, you know, this kind of cool things that you can be doing. Anyway, check out my main video on my channel for that. Now then, we're talking media chat next. Halo TV, Moonknight TV, Uncharted Movie from Sony, of course. Alright, Take That next. A fantastic boy band from the UK that came back in the 10s, I think, and did some more albums which were fantastic. What a group, Take That. If you don't know who they are, they're like a massive band, and the first song they played, Angels, Robbie Williams, came from this band. Anyway, this is a classic from them. It's called Back for Good.
This is Case 102.4.
Alrighty, it's Media Chat. Halo! Oh my god, what's going on that amazing sci-fi? You know, Master Chief kicking it around, the evil lady. Are they linked or something? What is going on between these two? It's really kind of strange. So, sci-fi's starting to get mystery. It's becoming a mystery kind of thriller, in fact. All looking sweet. Keep getting massive lore drops in the Halos TV series. When's it gonna stop? I don't think it is gonna stop, is it? Because they keep throwing like lore at you just to catch up with the video game series, as this is kind of a prequel to the video game series. I've definitely got it on my radar to play the Halo games. You can get like the Halo Definitive Pack on the PC with all the Halo games on. As soon as I get my new graphics card, you know, waiting for the 4000 series, that's the NVIDIA RTX. As the 3000 series was a bit of a joke, wasn't it? You know, try to get your hands on one of them, and even if you could, they were like 3 times the price that the recommended retail. Ouch. So yeah, Halo, still loving it, loving it. There is going to be a season 2 of it, and if you like sci-fi, you owe yourself to watch it. It's so good. Now, Moonknight, 5 of 6. There's only going to be 6 of them. Number 5. You know what, Moonknight? You are like probably going to go into a movie, aren't you? You know, it's so strange. In fact, episode 5 of 6 was like a filler episode where they didn't want to carry the lore of the series on, so they kind of insert here, let's make it longer. Yeah, I don't know what is exactly happened in 5 of 6. Has his imaginary friend Stephen now finally disappeared? So the whole of the first season was to try and tell you that he had an imaginary friend because he hated what his mother did. And he can jump into that character. It's like, yeah, but if you can't jump back into Stephen ever again, it's kind of a misnomer, isn't it? It's like a nothing burger now going into number 6 of 6. What's going on? So, it's weird, isn't it? I have no idea what's going on. And it's like, Stephen was the guy with archaeological knowledge, right? And you've now deleted him from your mind. So the character of Moonknight has lost 50% of his intelligence? Question mark. Oh, what's going on? And with the Moonknight's god, you know, Egyptian god, still imprisoned, and the evil god about to be risen, how are they going to manage all that in one episode in number 6? You know, got to free the god, got to stop the evil god, and if they package that together in a 1 hour thing, they have got a massive mission to do to get that right. And I just think it's going to go into a movie. I don't think they're going to do a second. I don't think they're going to do a second season. Yeah, because those people that were reading the comics, they were like, it was a flash in the pan anyway. Because at the end of the day, is Moonknight really a comic hero? Is he? I mean, is he a superhero? No, he's not. I don't think he is. Because everything he's doing, you could have had a human doing it. And that was a ninja. And the only thing that's making him a superhero is the god. But that doesn't mean it's him, it's the god, isn't it? The god's the superhero. So, yeah, it's really kind of less comic book, but just an adventure story. I think that's the best way of looking at it. And episode 5 of 6 feels like a filler, a lower filler, which is a bit of a nothing burger anyway, and relegates all of the season, this whole relationship of Stephen being his alter ego in the mirror weirdness. Weird thing going on. But yeah, that's Moonknight. Looking forward to finish the story, whatever the case. Now, Uncharted Movie. I haven't played the Uncharted games because they're on the PlayStation. I hear they're coming over to PC, so I'll be happy to play them. And so what is the movie? It's like a light-hearted adventure. Don't take yourself seriously. In fact, if you remember this film series, National Treasure, with Nicolas Cage, That was like super serious compared to Uncharted, which is like almost comic book, and it doesn't want to explain what it's doing, and it's doing a lot of things that you would question mark. It's kind of doing a video game thing in the plot. But don't worry about that. Just get on with the ride that's going on. It's like a massive road trip trying to get an object, that kind of movie. But it's going to be start of a series with the characters involved here, so it is potentially looking good, and the movie is quite fun to watch. It really is. Some amazing special effects and some really cool kind of relationship building that they've got. Because if they're going to make this into a series, they've got to make memorable characters from this first movie. So they've like nailed on who is who and where they stand in the relationship between each other. And I think that's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. And there was a big part of the film based in Barcelona. And it was like, hey, nostalgia, baby! I used to be in Barcelona. And there's a scene in the nightclub, and I'm like, I'm sure I've been in there. I've totally been in that place. So, props to the team. Hit my nostalgia strings in that movie. And in the post-credit scenes, which is, it's not really it's post-film scene. It's like, here's a couple of credits, bang. Here's the little teaser for the next movie. So yeah, we know it's gonna be part of a series, and Sony Pictures, they've kind of been milking Spider-Man too much, haven't they? So they need another franchise to sit on, and I think Uncharted is the one they're jumping onto. Oh. All right, peeps. Well, I expected this week to have Tainted Grail expansion, but it looks like the Chinese wall worker placement thingy is on Gamefound instead by Awaken Realms, which no interest in whatsoever. That game. Whew. So really, the big Kickstarter is going to be that, isn't it? This, I guess, in May now. And we're expecting some interesting titles anyway. I mean, the question is it gonna be the week it says, because they keep getting pushed back? There was even a game this week that cancelled. It had like £125,000 and it cancelled. It's like, oh my god, what's going on? I mean, what was that Kickstarter? It was that Anuunaki Kickstarter, wasn't it? Do you not think that's weird? Because it was like, it passed its goal. They got over 120,000, I think, dollars. And then they said we're cancelling it because the Kickstarter didn't blow up as much as we wanted. Were you expecting $1 million for this fake 4X? Oh, unbelievable. Because I have been slamming these Kickstarters of recent, saying they're not real 4Xs, because, it's not like there's a golden age of 4Xs going on, because at the minute there isn't really any that are really ones, apart from what we said today, Uprising. So you can't pull the wool over my eyes, I know what's going on. I just actually want to go to this Anuunaki and read what they got. They got $126,000 with just shy under 2,000 backers, which most Kickstarter companies would go, what a fantastic first 24 hours, no? They've said, we've decided to cancel the Anuunaki campaign and plan a relaunch. Yeah. The campaign wasn't performing as we expected. What? What were your expectations? We've decided to totally reorganize it and get back to it with a brand new and better campaign. You know, for me, it's like, because they called themselves a 4X hybrid Euro game. The problem really was it was standing up against Uprising, which was a true 4X. That was part of the problem. You had giant competition. And you still made over 100,000. I mean, doesn't 2,000 orders guarantee the game will be made? Totally bonkers, isn't it? I mean, that's pie in the sky if they really thought that. I mean, the team is Cranio Creations, which are like a retail company coming over to Kickstarter. And I don't know, do they really shoot for the moon? I mean, if you're a retail company, this is just to green light your project, isn't it? And yeah, I just think they have, if they want to get $1 million in the 4X industry, you need to do more. I mean, look at what Uprising is doing with the artist of Magic the Gathering. Your game has not compared to that, has zero interest. Oh my goodness. It's like we didn't expect. Well, if I looked at your Kickstarter, I might have said you might get 100,000. So you already surpassed my expectations. You know, they have a lot of minis, yeah, but a lot of them are copycat minis. They've just got generic cubes for each of the colours, not trying to do any translucent stuff. The bases all have flat bottoms and stuff. I mean, it had its problems. It just looked kind of generic. The cards that they had looked bad as well, and it was genuinely expensive because of all the plastic you're doing. You know, if you look at what Uprising is doing, they're trying to keep the cost down to get everything in there, and it's already going to be expensive, that one. So yeah, and they're calling themselves a 4X with a Euro game, and trust me, I have a lot of 4X experience. That Euro game mechanic is the worst thing you can ever do in a 4X. Where you're building up all your technology and all your units, and then all of a sudden, someone's won the game because they were playing for points. They were playing the Euro game. You were playing the 4X, and I've just been killed through a Euro game mechanic. Are you kidding me? Anuunaki, Dawn of the Gods, you did fantastic getting 126,000. I'm telling you now, because if people want a 4X Euro game, which is like bonkers that you've even made one like that, that's the kind of scope you're gonna get, is around 126,000, because, you know, what the 4X community want is a true 4X. And they're getting the king of 4X's Uprising in the minute, which is almost at 500,000 with like just over a week to go. So, you know, where is the real money in 4X's? With the real games that are out there. I'm going to have to put this on the... on the show notes, because it's not final thoughts, is it? I'm actually talking about Anuunaki. Okay, I put it in the show notes. It's like a bonus extra if you've stayed long, if you've stayed this long. Oh, peeps. Anyway, thank you so much for getting this far into the podcast. Remember, if you watch it on YouTube, all this music gets edited out because of copyright BS. So if you want the full version, you'll have to click the podcast link, which is in the description. Awesome sauce. Now, what we're going to get this week, we don't know, because things keep getting shuffled. But if there's anything of note, we will stick it on our channel, of course. And we're going to have a few final thoughts this week, because some amazing projects are going to be finishing, and I really want to wrap up my thoughts on them, because people do ask for my final thoughts, so all that good stuff. Now, if you want to ask me a question, just post a comment on the podcast or the YouTube video if you're watching it on YouTube. And we're going to collate all these. I think it's probably going to go to a Q&A at the end of May, because people listening in don't seem to have any questions, funnily enough. Okay. You know, it gets over, let's see, podcast gets around 100 people downloading it. Yeah, huge. I mean, we're less than 150 viewers every week, but you know, none of you people got a question? It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? We're almost at 900 subscribers, all that good stuff. Try and tell your friends about the channel. We want to get to 900 subs. We'll do a special video if we get to it, by the way. Alright peeps, that's your lot for today. I've been your host, Lipstickpaddy. Thank you for watching or listening to broadcast 19. We're going to leave you with almost the best romantic song ever made. Possibly. It's called More Than Words from Extreme. If you know what I'm talking about, you're probably going to wait and finish the show, because you know this is worth listening to. But for you millennials, please listen to this. It's so incredible. And yeah, Extreme, the band, who are they? Yeah, they used to do fantastic ballads, and really the music that carried them through. But yeah, less of me, more of the song. Thank you so much for listening. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now. Here it is, Extreme.